We navigate our daily lives treating trees as a quiet, unmoving background to the busy movie of human history. Beneath the soil, a hyperactive network pulses with energy. Through massive, intertwined fungal systems, forests constantly exchange nutrients and chemical signals, actively cooperating to keep the entire community alive. This hidden, interconnected life provides the framework for Richard Powers' novel, The Overstory. In the book, fictional scientist Patricia Westerford demonstrates that forests function as highly communicative neighborhoods. Trees share the specific resources necessary for their collective survival, moving far beyond the simple idea of isolated competition for sunlight. We missed this biological reality because trees operate on a lifespan measured in centuries. They move and communicate at a pace our brains naturally filter out in favor of faster, immediate movement. By measuring life only through the lens of human speed, we have consistently mistaken silence and slowness for total emptiness. Our brains evolved to prioritize immediate, fast-moving threats. As the novel's psychology professor Adam Appich observes, a charging predator or a sudden fire demands an instant response that our biology is fine-tuned to provide. Timescale blindness occurs when a threat unfolds over decades. Because our internal alarms require sudden movement to trigger, we struggle to feel a sense of panic when a disaster happens gradually. Ecological collapse is usually incremental. It arrives through a single logging permit or one slightly altered season. Because the change is so subtle, we simply adapt to the loss rather than recognizing it as a crisis. This chart compares the frantic peaks of human industry, measured in months, with the massive, slow-moving arc of a single tree's growth cycle. Our current systems are built on a timeline that is fundamentally incompatible with the natural world's recovery. Ancient ecosystems are failing because our brains lack the hardwiring needed to recognize a catastrophe that moves this slowly. When the true timeline of forest loss finally snaps into focus, the realization carries a crushing weight. The quiet background of your life suddenly looks like a crime scene in progress, and the once invisible damage feels like an emergency that should have been stopped a century ago. In The Overstory, this sudden clarity drives the characters toward radical action. They abandon their careers and risk their lives to physically blockade the destruction of remaining old-growth forests. If legal institutions are the ones authorizing the destruction of an ecosystem, following the law begins to feel like a form of participation in that loss. However, when activism turns toward violence, the focus shifts. The public often stops seeing the endangered forest and begins seeing only the immediate threat posed by the protesters. Desperation is a natural response to a dying planet, but force without discipline risks alienating the very society a movement needs to convince. Economic markets prioritize quarterly earnings, which forces them to view ancient, complex ecosystems strictly as short-term inventory to be harvested. Governments often frame this as a choice between protecting the environment or securing jobs for local communities. Nobel laureate Wangari Maathai proved this was a false choice. By leading communities to plant millions of trees, she demonstrated that restoration directly generates food security, clean water, and stable employment. This diagram shows how forests provide the foundational services, like water filtration and soil stability, that make long-term economic wealth possible in the first place. Human prosperity and environmental health function as a single, unified objective, where success in one is impossible without the endurance of the other. The Ancient Redwood suggests a new way to measure civilization, define success by the health of the systems we leave behind, rather than the wealth we extract. Genuine ecological recovery requires a commitment outlasting our own lives, focusing of a multi-generational timeline over immediate results. This is mature hope, the decision to plant for a future you know you will not live to see. It is acting with care even when there is no guarantee of immediate success. The greatest danger to our survival is the enduring belief that humanity occupies a story separate from the living world that sustains it. Our history is one fast-moving thread in an ancient tapestry. To see our full analysis of the Overstory and the secret life of trees, click the link on your screen now.